And the last thing that I'll ask you, and then we'll play a game that will be out of your hair, sir. You were kissed by Chad Ochocinco, correct?
Oh, man. I haven't been asked about this in a while. Yeah. Okay. So Chad Ochocinco may have been Chad Johnson at the point. He may have been in between, transitioning between Chad Ochocinco and Chad Johnson.
Right.
But he was obviously one of the best players of his era at the wide receiver position. And he was very mercurial. I mean, you guys know him, and I'm sure many of the NFL fans know. He was wild, unpredictable. He always had the most creative end zone celebrations. And he would say stuff on camera before the game, after the game, that was just like, okay, what's he going to do next? What's he going to say next? Completely unpredictable. He was in a contract dispute one off season, and the team had OTAs, organized team activities scheduled. So they sent me, I got the phone call, fly to Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You're going to Bengals practice, and you're responsible for getting Ochocinco on camera to say if he's going to hold out or not. He was forced to show up because he was going to miss his workout bonus if he didn't show up. So he wasn't going to give out that money. So what he did was he showed up to practice, and they were doing just basic drills. They weren't doing full pads and hitting and stuff, but he would walk through every drill. Like the high knees drills where the wide receivers are the quick feet drills. He would get up his turn. He would just walk through it.
Well, just straight down.
Just straight down, just pouting, just like, I'm here, so you can't find me. I showed up for the workout.
I'm not going to raise my knees.
But I'm going to act out and pout basically and sabotage this practice. It was really stupid, and it was Chad. So the team was getting pissed off at him, and even the PR department for the Bengals was getting like, this is ridiculous. And usually the PR department protects the player, right? They don't want you asking any real provocative questions or putting their guy in a tough position, and that's their job. I get it. This time the PR people were like, you can ask him whatever you want. So the Bengals practice where their game stadium is. Their practice fields are next to the game stadium. Not all NFL facilities are like that, but the Bengals is like that. So in other words, he's over here and he's pouting, but the locker room was in the game stadium. So I knew I had about a 100 to 200 yard walk that he couldn't be sheltered. So I'm like, all right, let's go. I told my camera guy, I said, start rolling, and you're going to walk backwards with the camera. I'm going to walk forwards, and I'm going to pepper Chad Johnson with questions. So I hit him with the first one. Chad, why'd you do that at practice today? And this guy that says anything and everything all the time just went dead. So I'm like, okay, he's not answering the question. So I'm like, now what I got to do, because it was not my first rodeo. If you get a guy that's just going to go no comment, or worse yet, not even say anything out of his mouth, you have to hit him with about 8 different questions that will demonstrate to your audience, okay, he's not answering the question, but he's not going to just run away. So it'll demonstrate which questions he won't answer. So I'm like, Chad, can you just tell us, this is about your contract? Chad, how much do you value your skill at? Chad, you scored 20 touchdowns last year, wasn't 20, whatever, 15 touchdowns last year, and yet you're the 5th highest paid wide receiver. Do you think that's fair? Chad, do you? And I'm asking him questions that he would otherwise want to answer. But because he had gotten it in his mind, I'm not answering this guy's questions. And he didn't want to run into the facility. He was just sauntering, So I got like 2 minutes on camera of me going bang, bang, with him answering no questions. Finally, we get to the entrance of the building where the media was not permitted beyond this to go into the locker room at the time. So I knew this was last question. So I asked him whatever my last question was, didn't answer that one, but he looks over and he recognized what I was doing. And I think he respected it, but he also kind of wanted to freak me out. So he turned, instead of answering the question, he turned, he grabbed me and he kissed me on the cheek, but he kissed me on television. And I was like, great. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Did you find it on YouTube?
I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, it's got to exist. We got to get that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yes. I did my job. I thought I did it well. He recognized that he wasn't going to go there with me, but he recognized that, hey, this guy stood toe to toe with me and other people would have backed down. But then he still wanted to try and ruin the moment for me. And he's like, what can I do? And it was all this spontaneous moment. And it was like, I just, and they played that on NFL Network. They played that. And it was like, well, Chad not answering questions, but Chad, love is in the air in the summer of Cincinnati.